I live on a semi-rural property that's been in my family for decades. The land was divided years ago, and while most of it became part of a suburban subdivision, one old access road stayed in my name. It wasn't much, just a narrow stretch of asphalt running along the back of their fancy homes, connecting to the county road. For years, I used it as an easement. It was technically private, but I never stopped anyone from using it. The neighbors treated it like a shortcut, and I didn't care until the HOA got involved. One day, I get a letter in the mail with the HOA logo at the top. It claimed that the road was now community property under their care. They said it would be maintained by them and therefore subject to their rules. The kicker? They hadn't bought it. They hadn't leased it. They just declared it theirs because it runs through our neighborhood. I laughed at first, but then I noticed something odd. They'd repaved part of it and slapped down bright white HOA branded resident parking only signs. Cars started showing up, lined bumper to bumper along my road. Some people even left them there overnight. I called the HOA president. She smugly told me, "It's easier this way. You should be happy. It raises property values." At first, I tried to be reasonable. Sent a letter, had my lawyer send another, even offered to lease the road properly. They ignored everything. Instead, they doubled down. They painted new parking lines and told residents at their monthly meeting that they'd secured overflow parking for free. Free. My land. The final straw? I came home one evening to find my own access blocked. Someone had parked a giant SUV across my gate. When I knocked, the guy waved me off and said, "HOA says we're allowed. Call them if you don't like it." That night, I decided the HOA was about to learn what private property actually meant. See, here's the thing. I might live rural, but I've got connections. My cousin runs a towing company, and we've been doing business for years. I called him up, showed him the deed to the road, and asked a simple question. How fast can you clear a dozen cars? The next weekend, while the HOA was throwing a community event, my cousin rolled in with 3 flatbeds and a couple of spotters. By nightfall, every single car on my road was gone. I didn't just tow them locally either. We hauled them to the impound lot 2 towns over, the kind of place that charges by the day and doesn't negotiate. Panic set in the next morning. My phone rang off the hook. HOA board members, furious homeowners, even the president herself screaming at me to bring the cars back. I calmly explained, "Not my problem. They were trespassing on private property. If you want them back, tell your residents to call the impound lot." The silence after that was golden. Of course, the HOA tried to fight me, threatened lawsuits, called the sheriff, even tried a smear campaign with flyers saying I was endangering the community. The sheriff took one look at my deed and laughed them out of his office. One by one, the car owners coughed up hundreds in towing and storage fees. Some had to fork over nearly $1,000 to get their vehicles back. The HOA finally caved. They ripped out their parking signs, scrubbed off the paint, and issued a policy update admitting that the road was privately owned and not for resident use. Now, my road sits empty and quiet again. No cars, no nonsense. Sometimes I drive down it slowly just to enjoy the peace. And every time I pass one of those board members in town, I smile, knowing that my little strip of asphalt bled their wallets dry. They took my road without asking. So I took their cars without asking.